Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Guys Night here with your host, Doc. Hello, good evening to all of yous. And my co-host, Talion. Talion, say hello to the good folk.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's show. Guys Night is on again after the week that we've been absent. But we're back, we're fresh, we're ready to go, and we have a special announcement. Well, Doc, do you want to be the one to announce that real quick?
No, go ahead. It is your home.
He gave it kind of away there, but the Doc himself has made himself a roommate with me and my girlfriend. He has moved in to my apartment and became my roommate, signed himself onto the lease. Are you excited, Doc?
I do believe so. So far, it's only been, half a week, and I am tickled to death. Just been such a great experience thus far.
We haven't even been at each other's throats besides today, but it hasn't been really at each other's throats.
We just keep joking or fighting. It's funny.
Until we piss each other off, and it's hilarious. I love it. But that's how we expected it to go. We have that to roll with at first. After that, it's just going to go like butter. We're going to smooth on from conversation to conversation where there is.
Like butter? Is it like real butter, or you can't believe it's not real butter?
I can't believe it's not real butter.
Wonderful.
The stuff that's like a tad bit smidged. What'd your grandpa say? It was like a little bit close to glue. It was one chemical.
Oh, yeah, it's one. The fake
glue.
butter's one molecule away from PVC pipe.
Oh, from PVC pipe. That's what it is.
Makes me hungry for toast. Anyway, but that's what we're talking about tonight, is about me moving in and the experience. It's going to be great. And we're looking forward to the adventures we're going to be taking. But other than that, get your whiskeys, get your pipes, get your cigars, and let's roll on. I am sick and tired of you leaving all your empty beer bottles everywhere, all right?
My empty beer bottles, huh?
Yes, your empty beer bottles are all over this house.
I see your goddamn shoes in the shower one more fucking time. Oh, we're on.
Sorry you had to hear that. Disclaimer, I don't wear my shoes in the shower.
I think he wears his shoes everywhere he goes. I've
seen look at my feet right now. Look at my feet right now. What are on my feet?
I have not seen this man barefooted until like a few weeks ago when he first came into my house and showered, and that was the oddest thing. I have never seen.
Sounds like you're watching me shower.
I do watch you shower.
Oh, good.
I have a little peephole you don't know about. Comes from my bathroom.
Is it behind that loose towel?
Yeah.
Oh, gotta fix that.
Moves away every time we turn around. I only like to see the behind parts. That's all I need to see. Anyways, I have seen him sleep in his Oxfords, though. FYI.
That's because I've been. Never mind.
It's because
I was gonna say hungover. That's the next morning.
Yeah, you weren't hungover when you slept in the Oxfords.
No, it's because I don't have any clothes because I came to drink, not to.
I literally ask you. I sit there and ask you, "Are you going to sleep in your shoes? Take your shoes off. I don't think they're comfortable." And you said no, and you slept in your shoes.
Keeps my feet warm when I sleep without a blanket.
Jesus H. Christ. Anyway, Doc, God. How do you feel about moving in?
I'm not for sure anymore. Continue to belittle me about my shoes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the little insults that I give here and there.
Oh, here and there. It's everywhere. Sam, I am.
Honestly, I feel great about it. Honestly.
Oh, you feel great about belittling me?
Thanks. Oh, yeah, I feel great about belittling you all the time.
You're a great friend.
It makes me feel better about myself.
You're a great friend.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, I always, every time we get off work, because, for those of you who don't know, the Doc and I work together outside of the podcast as well. So when we get off work or we go to work, we see each other. Before we go to work sometimes.
And now we see each other at the house.
And now it's see you at the house. And the days following, too, all of this happening, though, I mean, he was at the house constantly. Anyway. Yeah. So he basically was living with us at that point. The only thing he wasn't doing was sleeping or showering there. So unless it was those most hydrated nights where... You couldn't.
The weekends.
He would claim to be able to drive home, but he can't
weekends.
Drive home. The weekends.
The most hydrated nights. They're weekends. Oh, shoot. No. My thoughts and feelings about moving in. Yep, that was good. No. I mean, I've enjoyed it ever so far. This has been great. I have my own room again. It just...
How's it feel being out on your own again? You've been living with your parents for about...
With my parents, yeah, for about a month. Some stuff came down, and I had to stay at home for a month. But thank God, I am now on my own again. Yes, I do have roommates. That's not technically on my own, but close enough for me. Still saving money.
Technically, we also have about 4 in the household now, since we went on... my girlfriend and I went on a trip this last weekend to Arizona to get the rest of her stuff, and we brought back her cat, her little kitty. So.
Yeah, the cat.
The doc doesn't quite like cats. In fact, I haven't seen her in a while. Where'd she at?
Don't worry about it.
I'm really curious what the little thing went off to.
No, it's a pretty little cat, but me and the cat, not the girlfriend, me and the cat have some problems. It just... Like, I'll turn the corner, and the stupid thing will just stare at me. Like, how dare you?
Right now, she's looking at you like, I want to fuck you, so...
No, it's deeper than that. It's just like, how dare you step on my floor? I don't see you paying rent, cat.
You have the audacity to step on my sacred grounds.
Your sacred grounds, kitty? Listen here. I'm paying for this floor.
You
ain't paying for nothing.
So yeah, it's
me and the cat have problems.
I can't wait for all the little adventures they have together, because I bet it's going to be a love-hate relationship.
Mainly hate.
On the days that Ricky's here alone, the Doc's here alone, and the cat's the only thing here. I think he'll grow to love the thing.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's what's really gonna happen.
Or we're going to come home one day after going on a vacation, and then he's just going to be yelling at it, I told you to clean the goddamn dishes.
Oh, shoot. No, yeah, but I'm enjoying it out here. It's super fun.
Yeah. So, what?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That was real interesting. Let's hear the other side of that.
Well, we came back from this trip from Arizona, anyways. And we came back, and Doc had arranged everything. He put some decorations about. He put some picture frames up in blank spaces. Put some antlers above the fireplace. Made the place look real homely, actually.
Homely or homey? Those are two different words. Means two
homey,
different things.
I guess.
Homely means you look homeless. your grandmother, your mother ever go, oh, that person just looks homely.
You should see how Ricky dressed, or the Doc dresses for work.
It is cold outside in the morning.
Overalls, beanie, and an old army jacket over you with combat.
Spare change for a vet.
Spare change for a veteran. For a man who defended your homeland, spare change.
That's not nice to make fun of the veteran homeless, but that's kind of what I really look like. He does. A homeless Vietnam vet.
Who occasionally gets oil for his mustache somehow.
Yeah.
And curls it to look like Val Kilmer.
Shoot. But anyway, no, yeah, the place has been real homey. Put some decorations up. Kind of built some blank spots here on the wall, and there's still a few around, but that needs to be filled. But I think we'll get around to doing that.
How do you feel about the no smoking policy that's at the apartment?
Why did we ever? Why here? Why did we? Why this apartment? It's non-smoking. Look at us. No smoking.
Trust me, when we first saw the place too, and they said everything, and it looked great. I mean, it looked like an okay apartment.
Yeah.
Great price. And so we were like, great first apartment for that price. We can all, we already planned on moving in with Doc. And Doc moving in with us helps cut the payments down quite a bit. And they showed us through the whole place, showed us all the stuff there is. And I was like, yes, this looks cool. We can get a fireplace and everything like that. Goes over to the balcony and goes, oh, yes, we are a no smoking property. And
I'm sorry. Oh, what? And, I mean, I get it. I understand that you're just going to have those places, and we're all trying to save money, and we got a good price on this nice apartment. But
we keep telling ourselves one more year.
What? Yeah, that's
just 1 year.
March 30th, 2020. It's on the calendar. It's on the calendar.
It's on the calendar.
No, it's a nice little porch to have a nice pipe or a cigar on that I can't do because that's $100 fine if they find out.
I keep telling them, if you just hide it from the cars down there, the only people going to turn us in are the office people who see us. So
yeah, the only important people.
Yeah,
you know, the ones that are going to give us the fine.
Yeah, you know, the ones that are going to give us the fine. Who the hell's going to be out there anyway?
Anyway, no smoking. And so it's just one more year, March 30th, 2020. We're going to make it. It's going to be great. But other than that, I have absolutely enjoyed it here. It's super fun. It does feel like a home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives us all,
although the drive from work to, not the drive from here to work, but the drive, because I like that drive. That drive's nice. But the drive from work to here just feels weird. 'Cause for the past year, I've been going down 27.
Yeah.
Now
you
I just
got
go
off
down
the
40.
exit to I-27 and
Now I just go. Oh, excuse me. Now I just go down 40.
It's a short drive, though.
It is. It's weird. Down. It's weird, man.
It's like 7 minutes, maybe.
Maybe.
10. Most.
Maybe. No, but it's super cool. I've enjoyed it, and especially I'm very honored that you let me stay with you guys.
Of course, Doc, it's your home too. So.
I mean, yeah, but.
And I have to keep reminding them that when he asks for a damn Coke.
When I bought the groceries.
When he bought all the groceries, he still asks to use stuff. He still asks to use everything.
Talon, can I go in my room? It's you, Doc. It's your room. What?
It's your room.
Oh shoot! But yeah.
Reese has just entered the room right now, and she's a calico, right? I think that's what
she's colorful. Orange, black, and white.
Orange, black, and white hair. She's a chubby little thing. She's like a little fat.
This sounds really stupid, but growing up, I'd eat this thing where I'd put chocolate chips and like peanut butter, and I would eat it. It was an after-school snack of peanut butter and chocolate chips. And that's what the cat reminds me of. If I was Asian, it would make me hungry.
Do you still have peanut butter and chocolate chips?
No.
Why?
It's too sweet for me now. Now I'm just like, I need a glass of milk.
I mean, now that we're on our subject of that, since we moved in together, I mean, a little bit before we moved in together, Doc and I found this. I don't know if he's already known about it beforehand. But are you still watching the cat just roll?
Yeah, it's just look. She's giving me the stare, man.
She's in heat. She just wants to have the loves with you.
I don't want to give her the loves. I'm not Asian. Look. There's the look right there.
You like this, boy? You like this?
Yeah. Watch me roll on the floor.
Watch me.
That's
roll.
right. No, yeah.
Pet my belly.
No. Yet.
But anyways, we found this snack that seems pretty good. You get a tortilla.
Oh, yeah.
You smear peanut butter all over it, and then you just kind of drizzle it in honey and roll it on up like a burrito. That stuff's good.
Yeah.
I bet you if you bake it.
Why would I want to do that?
I don't know. But You know how it gets.
Oh, it could possibly make the tortilla a little crunchy. Ooh.
PB&J tortilla quesadilla.
We're on to something. We're going to make millions. We're going to have all the monies.
We're going to have all the monies.
Oh, wow. Doc Italian's PB&J quesadillas. Only $19.99.
My dad taught me how to make white trash, is what I call them, white trash quesadillas. And what you do is you get that canned chicken like I used to eat from a can that everyone thinks is gross, but I absolutely love.
Weirdo.
You drizzle out all the juice. You put a tortilla on one of those pans, put in the oven. Put oil on the bottom of the pan, of course, olive oil or cooking oil. Way it doesn't stick to the pan. Put shredded cheese all over you can either put it on top of the chicken or on the bottom before you put the chicken on.
Okay.
Put the chicken on or put it before, whichever. Put another tortilla on top of that.
Listening.
And then bake at I forget how many degrees, but you end up making it. It's dang good. It's real good. It's white trash quesadillas right there.
Huh. That just sounds like a simple way to make a quesadilla to me, not white trash.
I call them white trash because, you don't make them all fancy. You don't make them on like a skillet or anything with some fajita chicken.
Okay. No, that actually sounds pretty good.
Actually, if we get some fajita chicken at some point, we got to make ourselves some quesadillas at this house. Ricky has also designated himself.
Well, it's kind of close to what you were trying to say there for a second. Let's hear it. Say it.
He's designated himself as our little chef.
Yes, I have. I get to make all the foods.
For anyone who's ever played Red Dead Redemption, he reminds me of what's the cook's name on there?
Ooh, that's a sin.
I know it's a sin. I don't remember the cook's name. Dang.
Now you're gonna be up all night thinking about what's the cook's name. It's not like you have I don't know, like a phone or anything to look it up.
Here. Yeah. Chef
Chef Boyardee. That's it.
That's exactly one of the first things that came up, actually. Chef Boyardee. That's his name. Chef from Red Dead. Maybe that'll pull something up.
Doo-doo. 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 Doo-doo.
Oddly enough, it didn't pull too much. Hang on. Chef.
Anyway, so while he's looking that up, I'll tell you. So I have designated myself the chef of the house, and I make
Pearson. His name is Pearson, by the way. Pearson.
Hey, cool.
Pearson. He's the cook.
Interrupt my segment.
I'll do it again if you'd like.
Oh, I bet you. I don't think I have to invite you to do it. You'll just do it.
All right, continue.
No, I have designated myself the chef, Chef Pearson.
His name was Pearson. He's a pretty cool person. He has a top hat in the game, and
why are we friends? Why are we friends? Okay. So I'm the chef of the house, and I've made all the good food thus far. Let's see here. Made jambalaya, shepherd's pie.
I have to admit, the shepherd's pie was a little weird for me.
I like shepherd's pie.
I mean, I'm sure you do, but I mean, just having all those vegetables layered underneath the baked mashed potatoes.
Which was good.
Baked mashed potatoes. It was good baked mashed potatoes.
Yeah, because I made it.
It's just a little weird for me. It's just not to my texture. It's not something my mama made when I was young, so.
You always complain about your mama's cooking.
Well, she did just cook stuff that was just out of the bag or out of the can. When she learned how to cook spaghetti, it's why I'm sick of spaghetti, is because that's the only thing she made after months after learning it. Spaghetti. Then after she learned how to make tortilla soup, I can't eat that either because she made it for frickin' weeks. And I would always tell my dad, too. My dad says the same thing. He says, it seems like we've had tortilla soup in our house for a long time after she learned how to make it. Well, the things that I love my mama
I'm glad that your mama has gotten all the wrinkles out, and now she feeds me all the good stuff.
Yeah, she feeds you. You're our trash. You were my parents' trash compactor.
When you were living at the house, every time I'd come over, your mama would send me home with a Tupperware full of food.
I don't know if they make that much food anymore.
I'll guarantee you they don't.
I thought my mom would overmake food and give us some leftovers, but
what are some of the stuffs that your mom made that
I really love?
Mm-hmm.
Potato soup and chicken and dumplings. Those are one of my 2 favorite meals that she makes. You know how many times she makes them out of the year?
Once.
Each. Once.
That's all right.
It's too hot to make potato soup. It's too hot to make chicken and dumplings.
Mom.
Who cares how hot it is?
I want some chicken and dumplings.
I just want some chicken and dumplings, damn it.
Oh, dear.
But those, I mean, they are the simplest meals to make. They're poor man's food, but I love them. Oh, I love them.
You know, that's kind of like us. I mean, chicken and dumplings is a poor man's food. I believe it's originated from the Great Depression because they had an overabundance of chicken.
Yeah.
And all you need to make a biscuit is flour, lard, and a little water, salt. I mean,
yeah.
A real sad biscuit, but hey.
Some pepper in there. What are you putting to make the kind of soupy stuff? What is that?
That's going to be your chicken stock with cream and flour to thicken it.
Now I'm getting hungry. Hang on now.
Does your mama, does she put corn in her chicken dumplings?
No, we don't put any vegetables in our chicken.
Good. Ex-wife used to.
I don't know. You told me that, and I was like...
Ex-wife used to put celery, carrots, corn.
That's not chicken and dumplings. What the hell was she making?
Chicken pot pie. That's chicken pot pie, but instead of bacon, bowl.
Yeah, it's chicken pot pie bowl. It's exactly what it is. You got the dough, you got the chicken, you got the carrots.
That's nice.
They put peas in there too.
I can't remember. But
peas should not belong in anything. I hate peas.
I like me some peas. I like me peas. But I don't. Frozen peas? No, sir. I'm right there with you. No.
You also love making red beans and rice, and the funny thing is that actually is a poor man's food in Louisiana.
That's one of my favorite meals is beans and rice.
It's the simplest damn thing.
It is just so good. I don't know. It's got all those like real, because it is Cajun. It's got those Cajun flavors to it. Come on, somebody.
You see, that's why my mom...
Your tongue will beat your head silly trying to get to it.
My mom absolutely hates that meal because that's all they ate as a kid. Because that's all my papa knew. He was poor growing up, and that's all he really knew was to make red beans and rice. That's all they could make because they were living off paycheck to paycheck. But, I mean...
And another thing I'll tell y'all, folks, is in this household... The tea jug is never empty. I always keep a full pitcher.
That's true. I'm very proud of him for that because I love my sweet tea. And I love his sweet tea, I mean.
Thank you. But yeah, I start my day with, some people start their day with a cup of coffee. I need my sweet tea to start my day. Wash all the night stuff down real fast and simple like. And then I can enjoy my hot cup of coffee.
Yeah. Coffee and sweet tea. It's basically what our diet is now. Nowadays. That and occasionally a Coke with a little bit of whiskey in it.
Yeah, we'll sometimes have that watching our shows. And, we actually haven't had any beer in a while. This is our first beer in a while.
Yeah. How long is it? We haven't had it all last week, have we?
The last beer I had was this weekend, and that was during a social gathering with some other friends, not even with you. But the last beer I had in the house was a week ago. So.
Week ago, dang. It's been a while since I've had this Ziegenbach then.
But I've missed my Ziegenbach. Once again. Here's a plug.
And also, if one of our friends is listening to this, we apologize. We have been sipping out of your Jameson.
We're going to owe you another bottle. Sorry, buddy.
The other friend that we hang out with on aisle 10, your whiskey has been drank. On aisle 10? Yeah, we'll buy you another bottle. Don't you worry.
We don't even have enough left to make another drink.
It's a toss-up. Really?
Yeah, it's just enough for a swallow.
Oh, boy. Go swallow it then. I mean, put it out of its misery.
You put it out. Why is it in the cabinet then?
And keep the bottle for him.
Yeah. You can have this.
Well, maybe he started the sip. Maybe he'll finish the sip whenever he comes back.
That's just mean. No, we'll get him another bottle, another full bottle.
Yeah, we'll let him have that. Give him a whole full bottle. But it's a toss up between that and R&R. And Ricky doesn't like R&R. I'm okay with R&R. I don't drink whiskey straight, so I can't.
R&R. I don't know if y'all have ever had it, but it's bottom shelf. It's like they took. Oh, Jesus. It's like they brewed some bourbon and then let it sit in the barrel for about 7 hours and pulled it out and said, here you go. It's like rubbing alcohol with a little bit of coloring.
Hey, it's $13 whiskey. What do you expect?
I know.
For a big old bottle of whiskey, $13. We're living on a budget now.
Why is it so expensive? And that good stuff just goes back so easy, so you drink a little bit more of it at a time.
Yeah, it goes.
And R&R lasts forever because it's nasty, and you only put a little bit in your drink, because if you don't, it overpowers it, and that's not good sipping bourbon.
I mean, the last time we had this Guys Night podcast, I poured a good amount in my...
You should go pour another good amount. Get rid of that.
Good amount? There's still almost a full bottle left.
I know.
How much am I going to pour in there?
I don't care. Just get it gone. Oh, but I tell you what, Friday is in 3 days.
Yeah, Friday's in 3 days.
You know what that means? All my money goes to paying bills. Oh.
Yeah, but we usually, to pass the time on these guys' nights too, before we started the podcast, we started this game of poker.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to get into poker for quite a long time since I've played it on video games, and Ricky got some kind of hair up his ass to want to play it, and eventually we had my dad. My dad.
Oh, thanks. Oh, Shannon. Yay.
We had my dad teach us how to play poker the right way.
Our dad.
And it was, I mean, we gotten pretty good at it, I think. We gotten to know each other's tales. We absolutely love the game.
Then Tyler moved out, and we haven't seen a good game of poker or any game of poker in about a month.
Has it been a month?
It has, Tyler. You've almost lived here a month.
Oh my God. We have
because we moved out. I moved out.
We moved out like we all.
Well, I moved out of my apartment few days before you moved out of your parents.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe a week. So
it's been.
And I moved out the 28th.
Dang.
So yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
Yeah, we haven't seen ourselves a good game of poker in a while. That's why after this podcast, we're gonna see if we can string ourselves up.
Scare ourselves up a good old card game. Every time I think about playing poker, I don't know if y'all have seen the Ballad of Buster Scruggs yet, but Buster Scruggs goes out and see if I can't go find a card game, and he goes along, and it's his luck to get the dead man's hand of poker, and the only game he can find. Yeah, that's it. Go watch that movie. If you have any humor whatsoever, go watch The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
You mind if I'm taking his spot?
You see him. You see him, you play him.
You see him, you play him. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's funny. It has different kinds of stories.
I don't know about that. I don't think I'm good. No, I think I'm... You see him, you play him.
It's too late. You have regarded the cards.
Now we're just doing the movie.
Welcome to Guys Night. We're reciting the entire movie of Buster Scruggs. I'll see you, Mr. Pocket. Pan shot.
You're old, but wait, no, you're older. I messed that up.
I'm old, but you're older.
I'm old, but you're older. I'm a-coming for you, Mr. Pocket. I'm a-coming for you. Oh, such a good movie. Just, what is that, 5 or 6 short films put together?
Yeah.
And just absolutely wonderful.
Little short films that are both, I think, some of them were based off of little true stories, but made into a fairy tale kind of way.
Yeah.
And warped into their own mindset. But
so what is there? There's the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. There is, don't tell me. Oh, Pan Shot. Then there is Mr. Pocket. There's this.
What's the no arms, no legs guy?
Yeah, I can't remember the circus. I don't know the circus. Then there's What Do I Tell Mr.
Meal Ticket. That's what
Meal Ticket. Yeah, the Meal Ticket. And then it's What Do I Tell? Arthur Has Nothing. Arthur doesn't know what he's supposed to say to Billy.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it's that really, really creepy, weird one.
Oh yeah, that paranormal one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a good movie. But we've watched ourselves so many westerns, by the way.
Which we need to watch Tombstone again.
We need to watch Tombstone because my girlfriend hasn't seen Tombstone.
And you're dating her?
She says she may have seen it way back in the day, but she doesn't remember it.
I want you to know. I'm disappointed. Y'all been dating how long now?
How long? I don't have my movies. My movies are at my parents' house. They're at my parents' house. They got Tombstone. They got Lonesome Dove. They got Open Range.
All the good movies.
All the good ones that ain't on Netflix.
We need to have a Lonesome Dove marathon. Because it's been a minute since I watched Lonesome Dove, too.
Maybe just the ones that everyone likes, which is the one.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
there's only one Lonesome Dove.
No, there's several Lonesome Dove.
No, we don't speak of the other ones.
We don't speak of the other one.
There's only one Lonesome Dove. And maybe if we're drunk enough, we might find ourselves putting in Comanche Moon into the DVD player and then realize I'm not drunk enough and take it out.
And pass right out after.
Yeah. Because if you ever go back and watch Comanche Moon.
Is that the prequel one?
That is this.
Or is that the second sequel?
It's the prequel, but it came out after Lonesome Dove.
Yeah. Yeah, they made it weird. They made the first one.
And I watched Lonesome Dove, and then I watched Comanche Moon, but Comanche Moon was kind of somewhat still new, and it was still earlier when I was a kid, that the CGI looked so good that it was real.
Yeah.
I went back the other day and looked at the CGI and nearly threw up in my mouth. There's this one point where a longhorn steer comes a running at him, and it's fixing to put a horn through, I guess, Woodrow or Gus, and Woodrow pulls out his piece and puts the bull down or the steer down, and it is the fakest, worst CGI ever. Like you can count the graphics, the
pixels.
The pixels. It's just.
Oh God.
Oh, excuse me.
I remember that one being weird. The actors tried their best to be like the younger versions of Gus. What's the actor's name? And Tommy Lee Jones.
What is Robert Duvall?
Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall. I was like, am I saying that right? Yeah, it's Robert Duvall.
Yeah. But yeah, they tried their best to be those guys, and they just wasn't having it.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't having it. And in the sequel, they completely switched out Tommy Lee Jones for another actor. I forget his name.
It's actually Angelina Jolie's dad.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fun fact though, Angelina Jolie's dad and Angelina Jolie don't speak to each other because he's a hardcore conservative and she's way left.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, sir.
Oh. That's what separated their family, is the politics?
I think there's some other reasons, but that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's funny. That makes sense, but I still don't like him playing Tommy Lee Jones's part, especially since it's not a time loop. It's not a time loop between the first and the second movie.
No.
The sequel literally starts off where the good movie with Tommy Lee Jones ended.
Yeah.
Right where it left off.
Like him coming back.
Yeah.
Or was it? No, because it ended with.
He was in Lonesome Dove.
Yeah, it ended with him in Lonesome Dove.
Which Lonesome Dove, for those of you who don't know, is supposed to be like Amarillo, right? It's supposed to be like the first part.
Nope.
Where's it supposed to be? I thought you were the one who told me that.
No, because if you remember watching Lonesome Dove, remember they're sitting at the house, and Gus goes, well, Newt goes, well, where's Cap? And Gus says, he's down by the river looking for Mexicans coming over. He's sitting at the Rio Grande waiting for Mexicans to come over.
That's right. They went into Mexico, and
in the movie he goes up to San Antonio to look for a cook. So that's going to put you down southwest of San Antonio somewhere.
I still can't believe you don't know that the part where Gus got his horse shot, and there are many other scenes in that movie that they filmed around this area.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all. No, sir.
There's a Lonesome Dove house somewhere in this area too that they have. I forget. I don't know where it is. My dad could tell you because he did pest control there. He also did pest control at the
probably some fancy man's ranch out here somewhere.
It's fancy man's ranch, because I think they filmed it on some kind of ranch.
Yeah, fancy man's.
But the guy's brother. You remember the Arkansas sheriff, the sheriff from Arkansas? July Johnson.
And Roscoe Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And Aunt Peach.
My dad did pest control at Roscoe Brown's brother's house. He lives here.
Wait, what?
The actor who played Roscoe Brown. He did pest control at his brother's house.
His brother lives here?
He says he's Roscoe Brown's brother because he has pictures of him all around and pictures of him in the movie. But Ricky, my dad says that he believes that he's Roscoe Brown because he says he looks like a spitting image of him.
Can I meet him? Because he's actually one of my favorite actors. He plays Reba Hart's daddy on Reba.
On Reba.
I like Texas themed movies and TV shows. Yeah, but
I know July Johnson played in several movies.
Oh, countless.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about Lonesome Dove?
Lonesome Dove?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just love the lifestyle that those guys have. They're cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, the actors played it well, mainly because I think they're both Texans. I think Robert Duvall is Texan.
I couldn't tell you. I'd be lying.
I couldn't tell you either. But I know for a fact that Tommy Lee Jones is Texan. He grew up in a small town in South Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They both have the Texan accent, the gruff cowboy way.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Lee Jones is a hard ass to begin with, so he played Woodrow Call very well.
Right.
And Gus McCrae fit Robert Duvall's actual personality. Honestly, all of it. I loved the part where they were in San Antonio and the bartender wasn't listening to him.
Oh, yeah. Look up there. And whaps him upside the head with that walker.
Yeah. Didn't he come up there and he goes, bartender? Like, the bartender ignores him.
Mm.
Then finally the bartender comes over after he yells for him several times. And he goes up there and says, "What do you old coots want? I have plenty enough to do without you." And he pistol whips him in the face.
With that big old walker. So, it's kind of ironic, though, that the pistol that he whopped him upside the head with, it's a walker. Mm-hmm. And that was designed, that pistol that he whopped him upside the head with is designed for Texas Rangers in the 1800s. The Texas Rangers said, we need something to take down a riding man's horse. Yeah. Because they had no horse, they couldn't run. So, and just think if it could take down the horse, what could it do to the man? So we needed something to take down take down a horse.
You know how badass the Texas Rangers were back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
Those guys.
And I can't remember his first name, but his last name Walker. He went to Colt and was like, "Listen, this is what we need." And Colt said, "All right, you tell us what we need. You help design it." And that's why it's called the Walker. And the darn thing is huge, and it's way bigger than your black powder Navy.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, they had to be built for badass men. So, but back in the day, I mean, Texas Ranger badge was made out of Mexican pesos.
Yeah.
So, I think the first people they actually fought against was Mexican banditos, weren't they?
I couldn't tell you the exact person or like people they fought against to begin with.
Jack Coffee Hayes was the man who started Texas Rangers, wasn't it?
Again, couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you. He was either one who started the Texas Rangers or he was a badass Texas Ranger. I forget which, but.
Well, he's a badass Texas Ranger. All Texas Rangers are badass.
Oh, all Texas Rangers, but he was a badass one. They kind of did something a little illegal.
Let's not talk about that. Y'all didn't hear that? That's not a thing.
Legally, it probably would have been illegal for federal standards, but back in the day, Mexican
anything back in the day was against legal standards.
That's true. I mean, they didn't.
They had what is
Western
that called?
Justice.
What's it called? You catch someone stealing a cow and you just string them up in your backyard. Vigilante justice. That's not really legal.
It's not in Texas, but I think you still have to call the police on them. And
yeah, I mean, I could still shoot you if you come to my house.
Yeah, you still
vigilante.
Yeah, vigilante. yeah. I mean, but this guy, banditos were a big problem in Texas after the Civil War. Was a little after the Civil War. Or before the Civil War, something like that?
Possibly a little bit before.
I forget when Jack Coffee Hayes reigned.
It's probably going to have to be after the Civil War because it's kind of when the whole cowboy thing started.
Yeah, that's when cowboy started, was after the Civil War.
You know, a lot of folks were out of work because of the war was gone, and cattle were kind of everywhere, and Texas was kind of like, And then, so there's a whole bunch of cattle in Texas, and actually now that I'm saying this stuff, it's coming back to me. So there's a whole bunch of cattle in Texas, and we had a whole bunch of immigrants coming up from Mexico to work or help, as in steal our cattle, and take them down to Mexico and sell them there while we were trying to sell them to America.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the vigilante thing really wasn't working, so we needed law enforcement to
which all you needed to be as a Texas Ranger back then was to go sign your name here.
Here, do you own a cowboy hat? Doesn't everybody? Sign your name.
Sign your name.
Sign your name, son.
Got a piece, son? Yep. All right. And there it is.
And boom, you're out.
There's a movie out there that I suggest people watch called Texas Rangers.
There's, I don't know how historically accurate it is, but the new one on Netflix that's come out about the two Texas Rangers that is hunting down Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Huh. I don't know if it's historically accurate because I'm not too caught up with the Bonnie and Clyde run, but I heard.
So there's another one called Texas Rangers too, huh?
No, it's something else. I can't remember the name.
Huh. But Texas Rangers, and I think Jack Coffee Hayes, I think it was him, who this kid ends up riding with him, and he's the main character. Jack Coffee Hayes follows these banditos, and they keep going in, killing people, stringing them up, running through the town, how they do the horse lines,
You mean a lynching?
No, not lynching. They just run their horses through town, cause as much havoc as possible.
Oh, okay.
And they did that, killed a lot of people, killed a bunch of men in several towns, and I don't know why I went blank.
Oh, okay. Well, he's lost his train of thought. Well,
but here we go. They end up having to chase these banditos, and the banditos take refuge in Mexico and yell at them across the Rio Grande and say, "You can't get us." So while they drank that night and celebrated, the Texas Rangers went in the next morning when they were hungover.
Oh.
And completely slaughtered them.
That's kind of... it's just like... kind of... So, I don't know if you're familiar, like completely familiar with the whole entire Tombstone, quote-unquote, era of events that went down. But the whole OK Corral against the Cowboys was kind of like the tip of the iceberg, because that's the only part of it that got headlined back east.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's kind of how it pretty much only how it got famous. But there are so many other stories about that. And rumor says that the Cowboys, the gang in Tombstone, one of the reasons why the Earps didn't like them is because of like cattle rustling and stuff like that. And so one day, to stop them, what they did was they stole a whole bunch of cattle, and they had like a celebration of some sort, and they went into this little cavern bottleneck area, and it's called Skull Canyon, I think it is, or Skull and Bone Canyon.
What a classic name.
I know, right? And a whole bunch of them were slaughtered there because when they were drunk and stuff, they bushwhacked them. It's the rumor. I don't know if I believe that, but they were bushwhacked. Did they deserve it? Possibly. Maybe. They were bushwhacked over there, and the father of the group got out and started telling the story of what happened, and that's why the Cowboys and the Earps were at each other's throat.
You know, there is some ways where, I mean, if the federal government ever got involved, of course the Cowboys deserved everything they got. They were murderers, they were
thieves,
horrible men.
They were not standard to the cowboy code.
Yeah, they were not. They aren't the actual their gang was called Cowboys, for those who don't know. They wore red sashes to simplify their gang, kind of like Crips and Bloods, you know, where Bloods wear reds, Crips wear blues.
I'm just gonna put this out there that the Cowboys, the Tombstone Cowboys, wearing the red sashes, have a little bit more class than the Crips or the Bloods.
Well, they were back then thieves and murderers. But so what the Earps did, or what was the oldest Earp's name?
Virgil
Earp. He became sheriff of Tombstone. I think that in fact Tombstone the movie doesn't put it in all.
Because Virgil didn't become Virgil wasn't actually the sheriff.
He wasn't
in real life.
Really?
It was actually Wyatt and the actual sheriff were running against each other. It wasn't like the sheriff died and was like, "Here, son, you're the sheriff now." I mean,
well, it wasn't the sheriff actually. It was because the sheriff was the one who tried to put them in. Sheriff of the county tried to put them in handcuffs after the thing happened. What was it? It was. What would you call?
Was he a U.S. Marshal? Was he the marshal of the territory? He was marshal of the territory. And I think I can't remember now. Was it the marshal? The marshal and Wyatt.
Because they came out of the saloon. Remember, they came out of the saloon. They shot the marshal.
The marshal and Wyatt were actually running against each other for some time. Like politically and democratically running against each other through the votes of the territory.
Yeah, because I remember that's the one reason they came to Tombstone is because they knew that they needed law enforcement. Yeah, and Virgil convinced Wyatt Earp to go down there with him. From Dodge City, Kansas.
Dodge City, and the funny thing is the wow, stutter, Ricky. Wow. The Earps. The Earps, they already had houses, like gambling houses in Dodge City.
Really?
Because that's how, little known fact, that Big-Nosed Kate actually knew the Earps before Doc Holliday knew the Earps. Because Kate worked for one of the brothers' wives in one of their gambling/brothels houses. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. It was actually Big-Nosed Kate who introduced Wyatt and Doc. When Doc was down in Texas gambling his life away, Kate was actually at that same brothel working, and Kate and Doc became friends / lovers.
Another fun history fact for those people who don't know. Mm-hmm. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
But the reason why Doc came down to Texas is because he heard. You remember he heard that Big-Nosed Kate introduced him to Doc. But remember, he heard that somebody down in Texas knew Dave Rudabaugh, who was a famous outlaw that he was going for after.
And so it's funny because Doc and Kate were dating, or courting, well, whatever you want to call it, loving each other at that time. And Wyatt came on down from Dodge looking for Dave Rudabaugh.
Who?
And he was looking. He was poking around town trying to find Dave Rudabaugh because he heard that he was in the area, and so he walked in the saloon. Well, lo and behold, there's Kate, working, and he goes, "Kate, how you doing? Yada yada yada." Well, she goes, "Well, Wyatt, what are you doing in town?" He goes, "Well, I'm looking for Dave Rudabaugh." Kate said, "You stay right there. I know somebody who knows him." And who does she pull over? Why, none other than Doc Holliday himself. And pulls him over, and sure enough, he was playing cards with Doc.
I absolutely love that scene in the movie Wyatt Earp, because it shows when Doc and Wyatt Earp meet for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, it does, and it's the funnest thing because they learn each other's names, and he's looking for Arkansas Dave Rudabaugh. And there's some conversation exchange, and that Doc's personality still has that Southern Georgian accent.
Yes,
he's drunk as a skunk, pouring. And in Texas at this time, there's no real saloon. It's just he's drinking in a tent that is the saloon. And Doc's asking him questions if he knew Dave Rudabaugh, and he says, "I might. Depends. I only tell my friends that." Mr. Earp. And he goes, "Just call me Wyatt." "Well, Wyatt, call me Doc."
Oh, I've actually never seen that movie.
It's a good movie. And at the end of it, they end up bullshitting each other back and forth. Doc's being a sarcastic Southern asshole to Wyatt, and Wyatt is being the Midwestern asshole back to Doc. And when he does that to Doc, Doc pours himself another glass of whiskey and has this little smolder and goes, "Do you believe in friendship, Wyatt Earp?"
I think that's how you and I became friends. I believe so. We just kind of... we weren't old enough to drink, so we were drinking coffee, and just you bullshitting me, and I bullshitting you, and just you an ass and I an ass, and we were just like, "Well, Diana, do you believe in friendship? Because I believe we got ourselves one right here."
"Do you believe in friendship, Wyatt Earp?" I thought that was the best line. But history fun fact: the guy he was searching for at the end of it, Doc tells him he's ran off to New Mexico, and in the New Mexico territory to join up with a young group of kids who were starting up a little gang of their own.
I think I've heard of those people before.
I think I've heard of those people. That young group of kids who started up a gang was Billy the Kid's gang. And you'll find that if you look at Western history, a lot of those men line up.
All of them are connected somehow, from Buffalo Bill to
I think
Billy
Wyatt
the
Earp
Kid.
actually did meet Buffalo Bill or something like that. There was something connected with the Earps to the Buffalo
There
Bill.
is just such rich history there.
Or the Doc somehow, I don't know if he knew Buffalo Bill.
It is so intertwined and what else have you. And so
because it was small. All the communities were small.
I'm going to suggest to all of y'all that you go and watch a whole bunch of different Westerns, okay? Which you probably already have. If you're anything like us, we grew up on Westerns. And then just go do some fun fact research about the West, and the history of the Wild West. And you'll see that a whole bunch of the history of the Wild West that Tanya was just talking about, all those gangs and outlaws and Texas Rangers and lawmen and just the simple man, were all so interweaved and knew each other, from like Buffalo Bill to Billy the Kid, I mean, all the way in between. And then you'll start to pick them out from the Westerns that you've watched. And I know I have, because in Young Guns, you know, that's connected. In Tombstone, that's connected. Wyatt Earp, that's connected. I mean, all these different Westerns are just connected in all these different ways, and it's pretty interesting.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. That's why I love history so much. Finding out how many people were connected back then, you know, all the way back to where Cleopatra had an affair with a Roman.
I mean, she was Roman. Yeah. So it's just, history is good. And me and Tanya both have a love for history.
Oh, yeah.
As we just rambled on about it.
I mean, we wish that, we don't wish really, because, you know,
we like
diseases
our modern,
that didn't exist.
We like our modern medicine.
We wish that we lived the same style as back in the Western times.
And I think what we tend to do is if you ever see us or hang out with us really in person, is we have some of those traits of we bring back some of those traits of a simpler time. Is don't worry about the big picture. It's now that you need to worry about.
Yeah.
Because they live day to day. They didn't worry about you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like surviving today.
Yeah, surviving today.
You know.
I mean, look at Wyatt Earp himself. The man's famous today. You mentioned the name. Yeah, most people know him. At least who knows.
Yeah, but then if you go back to 1882, before OK Corral, it's like,
yeah.
Who?
But even after that, I mean, he fought for the rest of his life to make a fortune. That's what his whole goal was.
You know, fun fact, he actually wound up, I don't know if you know this, Tanya, but he wound up in Nome, Alaska.
Oh, really?
Nome, Alaska. And he didn't take a boat. That's one hell of a horse ride.
That's one hell of a horse. You know, he actually, during the 1920s, he helped do Hollywood movies for Westerns.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And so, okay, think about this, y'all. He went from Dodge City, Kansas, okay? Found himself in Texas for a little bit. Ended up in Arizona. Went from Arizona, milled around a few other places. I think he ended up in Oregon somewhere for a minute. Wound up in Nome, Alaska during the gold rush. And then next thing we know, he's dying in San Francisco, California. What? You know?
Doc died 9 years after OK Corral, and they were bestest friends, which is sad. But that's how cool it was. Doc, speaking of how close Western history is, Doc is his own Western hero. That's like, talk about a collaboration known for mankind.
He grew up an aristocrat family. Well, I wouldn't say aristocrat. He grew up in a well-off family, you know, a city boy from Georgia, and not really thinking too much. I don't know. Do you know how he got tuberculosis?
How?
He's taking care of his mother, who had tuberculosis when she was still in the contagious state. And she died, and he had tuberculosis, realized he had tuberculosis, and they said, move out west where it's drier.
That's the only thing they could tell you, because they didn't have no cure. It was just like,
so move out where it's dry, and God bless you.
God bless you.
And so, and he went through dentist school, and that's how he got his name, Doc. And it's just like, well, you know, he's an educated man, but then he's dying, and he realized he don't want to die just simple. He wants to live life to the fullest. So what does he do? He moves out west. He starts gambling his life away, which actually he was a pretty good gambler. He had a pretty good penny. And he also became a really great gunfighter.
Oh, yeah. Because he had a steady hand, he didn't care whether he lived or died. So he was going to die anyway.
He was out to outshoot you. And, I think about it. Hollywood has kind of made Doc Holliday a good guy. Mm-hmm. But was he really? That's what I want to know. Would the people of the day think that Doc Holliday was a good guy?
Yeah.
Or was he just a drunkard who could shoot?
That's probably what most people thought about him back then.
Just an old drunkard that could shoot.
I mean, just think about a lot of people that were back then. A lot of them were alcoholics. A lot of them were nobodies. Mm-hmm.
Like I said a minute ago, just living for now because.
What would you think of Billy the Kid?
Don't ask me that.
Don't ask me that.
I still think he was a bad guy. I think Billy Kid was a bad guy. But
he killed corrupt officials.
He killed corrupt officials, but he also hit bystanders, too.
He never hit bystanders. Maybe bounty hunters. He killed bounty hunters who'd come after him.
I personally believe that Billy the Kid was in the wrong, but...
I like Billy the Kid. I like him.
Hollywood did a great job with him. He really did. But the history on Billy the Kid...
He loves that because of all the conspiracy.
The conspiracy that he died in 1950... I believe that Billy the Kid died in Hisco, Texas, on the front porch of the post office with a heart attack. I don't believe that Pat Garrett killed Billy the Kid. I personally believe that Pat Garrett cared too much for Billy because they rode together.
That's what I love about looking at the history of things. Is that you think, oh, it's history. This is what happened. You can't think of it like that. You have to dive into their shoes. Just like, I believe Ricky would have been a good actor, but when me and my acting, when you read a script, you find the character you had, you got into his shoes. You didn't just read the part.
You need to just put the coat on.
Yeah.
You got in those shoes.
Yeah.
And like Forrest Gump says, a lot can tell about a man with his shoes.
By his shoes. And you dive into that character, so I dive into those characters when I go into history. Pat Garrett was Billy's bestest friend, just as Doc was Wyatt's bestest friend. And I just don't believe it. I don't believe that he could kill his best friend and shoot him in the back.
Yeah. And, I will say this. If it came to a point, why? I don't know how it could, but if it did, and if I had to take out Tyler because he became a bad guy or something like that, I don't know if I could be man enough.
If they promised you a smoke shop.
No, it's just we're
he kind of hesitated. He kind of said,
like Pat Garrett did. I guarantee Pat Garrett went after him, and I guarantee I'd probably go after you.
Yeah.
But when it came down to it, well, it's. I rode with the boy for so long. I was friends with Talion for so long. How could I do that? And especially in the back. Oh God. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd catch you unarmed and make you face me, but I don't think I could pull the trigger. And that's sorry to interrupt, but that's just kind of like, I guess, I feel like that's what Pat Garrett was the same thing. It's just like he hesitated. He went after Billy, and from a distance, it's easy to do it from a distance. But when you're in a dark room and, your best friend is on the other end of your peacemaker,
Well, just like, the story of Doc and Wyatt, just Tombstone. After watching it multiple times this past year, because Doc and I, the Doc, who's sitting here on the podcast right now, Doc and I, we were dressing up he was dressing up as Doc Holliday, naturally, and I dressed up as Wyatt Earp. And so I watched the movie several times to get to the part. And for Halloween, by the way, Halloween party. And watching Johnny Ringo, for those of you who've watched the movie, you know who Johnny Ringo is. Watching Johnny Ringo look at Doc, and at first he's cocky, he's just like, oh, I can get you, lunker. But when he finally faces down Doc, or when he has the instant when he's drunk in the streets and Doc almost downright. You can see the fear in his face, even when he's drunk, because he knows that Doc's a steady shot, and Doc don't care whether he live or die. But the fact of that is you look into Doc's eyes, into Doc's face. Val Kilmer played such a good part at that, because it's just like Val Kilmer, he doesn't know whether he's going to live or die. He knows he's a good shot. He knows he's going to
cocky,
win.
Real cocky.
Oh, but he thought that Johnny Ringo would be the one to kill him.
He thought. And I want to know. So I mean, he did such a good job with that, with the very end scene of between him and his foe, Johnny Ringo. And it was, well, Johnny Ringo looked like somebody just walked over your grave.
Yeah.
You know, that like, I don't care. Hit me, don't hit me, I win either way.
Yeah.
Come on. You know, and that's exactly what he says is come on, Johnny, right after he hits him, hoping that he'd fire another shot at him. Because I want to know, how did Doc feel after that for the next 8 years? I
mean, tuberculosis is a painful process.
Slow drowning. So how did Doc feel after that? He thinks the only man on Earth he just killed that could kill him. So how kind of lonely was Doc after that? You know, and like you said, getting in those shoes and that's why I love history so much. Is you find those characters, you find the people. And you know, Doc Holliday is just not my only one that I can do that I do that with. You know, there's a whole bunch of others of like, how did this person feel in this moment? And that's why history is so rich, and that's why I love it so much. Is because you can take from that person of like just trying to dive into the psychology of what they were feeling in that time.
I admit I take some things from certain characters that I love from movies, because I love how they acted in this way. I love how they treated this certain way. Like, that's the reason I loved Young Guns, the movie with Billy the Kid, about Billy the Kid.
And he reminds me so much of you.
Yeah, because I love making fun of serious situations. I love that.
I mean, y'all don't understand. He is just... If you
Everyone's
watch Young
like,
Guns,
you're the Doc on Young Guns. And he's like,
yeah, I'm the Doc.
God damn it, Billy.
Damn it, Billy. Or, could have killed you, Richard. Could have killed you. Or, well, no, Dick, because Doc says Richard. Could have killed you, Dick. Could have killed you, but I didn't. Want to eat. And then I'm over there at the table like, Richard, could you be so kind as to pass the gravy, please?
Could you be so kind? I mean, yeah, Billy the Kid. I mean, at least Emilio Estevez's character that he played as Billy the Kid was my idol on those movies, and just as Doc is to yours on Tombstone.
Yeah.
Just because of his confidence, you know, Doc's confidence, Billy's confidence, and like, but they're different ways. Doc's confident because he's going to die. He knows he's going to die, and he knows it's going to be soon. He just wants it to be sooner. It'll help him.
He doesn't want to die in bed.
Yeah, he doesn't want to die in bed.
He never thought he was going to die with his boots off.
Which gives you the ending of the movie when he looks at his feet and he says, wow, ain't that funny?
Yeah. You know, you never thought he would die with his boots off.
And Billy was just fucking crazy.
Billy was just nuts.
and he just, that was his way, I guess, of going out of a good situation, or out of a bad situation in a serious situation, is he'd laugh. I love the part, hello, Bob! Shit. Boom! Goodbye, Bob. Best $1.80
I've ever spent.
Yeah.
What's the one, Young Guns one, where he goes, I hear you, Bonnie.
The first one at the end?
Yeah, we're,
hey, Pepin!
I hear you, Bonnie.
I see you got Jolly Crocker down there with you.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch with us now.
Hey, Pepin! Jolly Crocker ain't with you no more. And he laughs like
he does that stupid laugh. But I don't know. At the same time, we pull so much from the actor who played that person, and we take from the person who who that actor is playing,
Mm-hmm.
and we bring it into our own lives. But we're not that. We don't. The way a lot of people say I look like Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's because I've kind of put my outfits towards. I've changed my my wardrobe towards him. Because number one, I love the style of clothing in the late 1800s, the late 19th century. That Wild West clothing is just late Victorian, early Edwardian.
The most uncomfortable shit you can think of, yes.
But it looks good, and I can pull it off. I've got the face and the figure to pull it off quite well, and so I do. And so I take that, and I am kind of an asshole. It's a lot of my friends will say I'm the nicest asshole you've ever met. And so I take that sarcastic assholiness from me, and I kind of play it along with Doc. How would he do it? But at the same time, I am 100% me. Am I making any sense, Talon?
I get you.
Okay. I just hope the rest of y'all
You're taking attributes from these guys, but you're also formulating it with yourself. You're yourself.
Because at the end of the day, at the end of my time here on Earth, I want people to go, wow, he was a character. Not to go, he was a lot like Doc. No, I want them to go, wow, he was a character.
Yeah. That's what the reason I love Billy is just because I would always think, man, if there was actually something where the crap went down in the country, and we became rebels, I want to become Billy. I want to become the guys that everyone's like...
And I will be Doc.
I really want him to get one of those patches you put on your military vest that say, I'm your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry.
But also, get a tattoo right down your arm.
Let me
get your whole body torso of Val Kilmer.
Oh my God, we were at the Tattoo Expo, and somebody did. We were looking at this guy's portfolio, and they got a good, portrait of Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday.
Yeah, it said I'm your Huckleberry at the bottom of it. Him smoking a cigarette.
It was just, why would someone put that on yourself? Like, that I don't understand. The tattoo I have. It's not
going to age well.
No, it's not going to age well at all. Val Kilmer's going to age the same way you do, honey. Not good. The tattoo I have right now is a compass rose. It says Vinny, Vindy, and Vinci, which is I came, I saw, and I conquered, and that means stuff to me, right? And I love the style of it. But to have a freaking picture of someone, what? That's just crazy to me. Ugh, it's just weird. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll end up with I'm your Huckleberry just for the heck of it.
Do it as a dare. Everyone comment on this podcast. Make him.
No.
500 likes on this video. He'll get a tattoo with Doc Kilmer.
Don't listen to him, y'all.
Just a small one on your ass cheeks.
Oh my! Why is it on my ass?
Just so no one's gonna see it. Just on the ass.
Just my next wife.
One day your wife looks.
My next wife goes, wait, hold on. What the hell's this?
What the hell's this?
Gets out magnifying glass. I'm sorry.
It was.
Oh my gosh! I'm so sorry, honey. And she's over there just laughing.
But yeah,
I thought it was a mole this whole time. A really weird mole. No, you blind coot. It's a tattoo.
Oh, God. But yeah, we take attributes from those characters and we put them into our own lives because we feel like we're attached to them in that way.
We do. Some way. But, I mean, Doc is really only my stage name. So
I just want to, have that rebellious thing as a slippery little devil. That's one of the things that I feel my dad, where he says he almost regrets me not going to jail often when I was a kid.
Your dad. He's a good man. He's a good man.
And I just like to have that slippery personality where it's like, oh yeah, he's been in jail a few times. Slipped right out of the handcuffs right away.
Bye.
Good thing about me when I was younger is I had small hands and big wrists. Slips out of handcuffs.
What's the one in Young Guns 2 where Billy turns around and goes, "Hey, such and such.
Oh.
Want to be famous?"
Oh, what was that one? He goes,
on the stairs. What's his name? Bobby? No.
Roberts. Something Roberts. Bill Roberts or something like that.
Yeah, he goes, "Hey, Bill, want to be famous?" Oh, come on, Bill. Don't do it.
Oh. Don't do it. Come on. Don't do it. I ain't playing. Bill? That was stupid, Bill.
That was stupid, Bill. And leave. But yeah, we take attributes from the characters that we kind of enjoy. And, you know, that's just not just from the one. I take attributes from everyone.
Yeah.
Because that's who we are. That's what human nature is you take attributes from. I don't care if you do it or if you try not to do it. If you stay away from everybody, you're still going to do it. Because it's human nature to be like everybody else. And there's some wrong and right and all that. And like I said, I do it with friends. I do it with actors who are playing characters. I do it with historical figures. It just rounds who you are in all that. Do you do the same thing, Tim?
Yeah.
You can find yourself doing the same thing?
Yeah.
But we would love to hear, you know, what characters you seem to be more inclined with or to be like. But I think for right now, I think we're going to end the podcast. We got a few things to do the rest of this evening. But just like usual, I want y'all to go and hang out with your buddies, with your friends, with your girls, and watch. Sit down this time and watch a Western and enjoy it and look at it and see what historical facts you can pick from it and go, oh, that's right or that's wrong. But while you're watching, make sure you keep your whiskey glass full, and you know, if you're allowed to smoke in the house, smoke in the house. Keep your pipe warm, too. No one neglect that, now do we?
Bastards.
Yeah, so keep your whiskey glass full, keep your pipe warm, and your thoughts free. This is Old Doc signing off.
And this is Old Italian, your best friend and lover.
Oh, wow. That one's new.
But your good old pal for another guy's night, signing off.
We'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.